You'll be arriving at Floor 26 soon. Before that, I'd ask you to please check us out on Twitter and Instagram at Floor 26 Podcast. If you have any questions about the show, you can hit us up there or go to our website at floor26podcast.com. Thank you for listening. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Floor 26 Podcast, the show made by young people for everybody. Today I'm joined by Parsa Pahlevankhah.
What up?
And over the call, I have Jack Casey.
How are y'all? What's going on?
What's going on, Jack?
Not much. Same old. In a dorm.
Dude, UGA dorms suck.
You're crazy. Mine's fantastic. All the other ones suck. I got the nice dorm, okay? I picked a good one. Mine's huge. Got a ton of space. Got a 50-inch TV.
Oh.
Okay?
Mm.
I got a nice one.
Wait, do you have your own bathroom?
No.
Okay,
but,
UGA dorms suck. End of discussion.
No, listen, you didn't let me finish. Having your own bathroom is actually worse because 9 times out of 10, you and your roommate have to share it with 2 other people. It's like like the Jack and Jill
4-person
bathroom. Yeah. So that sucks. Option number 2 of why it sucks is you have to clean it yourself.
What? Okay, that makes no sense. I'd rather clean my own bathroom rather than use a public one.
Bro,
I'd rather share it with 3 other people. I'd rather share it with 3 other people
Than 30 other people?
than a whole building of people.
Mm.
So your common sense makes no sense.
My building is unique because we have like community bathrooms with like shower stalls and like bathroom stalls and sinks or whatever. But there's a few, just like 2 or 3 on my floor, unisex bathrooms, which are just like one-of-one rooms with a toilet, a shower, and a sink, and you just lock it and have it all to yourself. That's what I usually do. It's really nice. So.
All right.
Yeah.
That sounds sketchy.
Are those in pretty high demand, though? Like, do people try to use them all the time?
Low key, people don't really know about them people know about them, but they're kind of, so they're not in high demand. People know about them, but they also don't at the same time. They kind of just use the community bathrooms because whatever. So
we're recording this on Friday, September 18th. Lakers game 1 against the Nuggets. What do you think, Jack?
I if I'm being completely honest, based on how the Nuggets have been playing and based on the Lakers past, like how the Lakers have played series in this playoff season so far, I think that the Nuggets will take game 1, and I think overall it'll be Lakers in 5 or 6. Probably Lakers in 6.
I'm saying the same thing, Lakers in 6, because LeBron always says game 1 is a feel-out game, so I wouldn't be surprised if they lose. I wouldn't panic at all. Like, media, oh, my God. When they lost that first game to the Blazers, first round, everybody was going mad crazy. Mm-hmm. Like, everybody was like, oh, Blazers are going to take it. I'm like, okay. But, dude, this has been one of my favorite playoffs. Like, each conference has been going crazy. The Heat are out of nowhere, and I think they're going to make the NBA Finals.
Okay. Obviously, I'm a Heat fan. It's weird. For basketball, I'm fans of a lot of teams. I'm a fan of the Celtics. I'm a fan of the Suns. I'm a fan of the Heat. Obviously, the Hawks. Teams scattered throughout just because I just like watching basketball.
I feel like every team in the NBA, like, they have something different about them that you could like. Like, the Heat are just dogs, and dude, I eat that shit up.
100%.
Like, if you saw Jimmy Butler, I don't know if it was game 1 or game 2. I think it was game 2 because game 1, Bam had that block that was crazy, but game 2, Butler was going crazy. He was getting steals, running up and down the court, and I'm like,
buckets.
That's what wins you games. Like, if you don't have like superstars like Steph, like KD, somebody who can take over the game, that team basketball, the defending, that stuff gets you there.
Well, that's the thing is most teams, it's weird because most teams in the NBA have at least 3 all-star players.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
I I wouldn't say it's gone away yet.
It's dropped down to 2 for sure.
Yeah, I could agree with that. But like we were talking about the playoffs, I think Lakers will lose their first game because, like you said, they lost against the Blazers, and that was crazy. And the media was making all these headlines, like you were saying, like, "Oh, Lakers they're folding, bro. LeBron's getting too old." All this stuff. I'm like, okay, it's game 1. Can y'all chillax? The Lakers will obviously beat the Blazers, but I don't know. I feel like Celtics Heat is going to be close, and Nuggets Lakers will also be close. I also agree with you when you said this is some of the best playoffs I've ever seen. It's ironic too because of Corona and it's the bubble and everything.
Yeah,
but these are some of the most entertaining basketball games I've watched.
Like
especially
it's just
because they are
it's
playoffs.
crazy with no crowd, with no intensity. Like how like every game is close. It's literally up for grabs. Anybody could win the championship, and I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be surprised if Boston won though. They have some locker room issues.
They have locker room issues?
Yeah, you haven't heard?
No.
Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart apparently got into it.
Really?
Yeah, after game 2.
Over what?
They lost. I don't know.
I mean, it's obvious. I just figured they had some kind of other beef.
Yeah, it's not surprising. No, they always do this in the playoffs. I think they're all just so young and they all want it.
Yeah.
So they all, like, I guess they just blame each other in the locker room, and that shit picks up.
Something that caught me totally by surprise, though, is the Clippers losing, bro. The Clippers absolutely folded.
Dude, the Clippers were looking bad from the start.
I agree with that, too. But did you see that post-game interview with Kawhi where someone was like, "Oh, do you feel like you played your absolute best potential?" And he, like, almost started crying. He was like, "I'm just trying to win a basketball game." And he, like, you could see, like, tears, and he sounded sad. I felt so bad for him.
The Clippers are missing something. And I don't know if it's team chemistry or
That's
like
exactly what it is.
it is.
100%.
And I think the main reason for that is because Kawhi, he's not a leader. He's not. I hate to say it. Like, they try to compare him to LeBron. Man is nothing like LeBron. I feel like LeBron's just underappreciated because he does it all. He's a floor general. Like, you see him on the field, like he's hyping the teammates up. He's like, "Good work. Don't worry about that missed shot. Like, we'll get him." Like, you never see, like, you do see LeBron, like, talking kind of trash about his teammates, like, in post-game interviews, especially, like, a few years ago.
What are you doing, JR?
Dude.
Yeah.
Dude, did you ever see that video of, like, LeBron and JR, like, miscommunicating on defense? And it was, like old times? Dude, that video. I love JR memes. Dude, JR memes are crazy.
JR, are you on Hennessy again, bro? What are you doing?
Dude, we got to get Adam into this. We need to get Adam into basketball.
Adam.
Dude, I am so bad at keeping up with, like, sports like that. I've just never done it in my entire life.
Dude.
And it's not like I'm interested now, like, being older, but, like, as a kid, it was just never, like.
Well, Adam, I can say that I was the same way. I haven't been really into it until, probably around freshman, sophomore years when I really started getting into it. Before that, I was like, oh, yeah, go best team, whatever. I didn't really follow it. I mean, I didn't really follow any sports like I do now. Like, now I've got a fantasy team that I've been in the same league for like 3 years, and I'm watching NBA every night and all this stuff. And it's like, if you like really figure out how it all works and kind of just like pick what you like and pick what you don't like, and kind of, don't follow like cringy sports pages on Twitter and stuff, because that'll just like confuse you. That's what I did at first. Like, I followed Bleacher Report, and Bleacher Report has a good like scoring mechanism, but their memes and their tweets are kind of cringe sometimes. But like if you just follow like a little update thing on Twitter and kind of keep up with it, it's entertaining to a point.
I feel like basketball is just the easiest sport to keep up with.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that.
Unlike football, like I never like ever really watched football to begin with. Never understood it because I'm like, where I'm from, we don't play football.
Yeah.
I played soccer all my life. Hate watching soccer. I don't keep up with it. There's too many leagues, too many people to keep up with. Like, but
I agree 100%.
But keeping up with the NBA is the simplest thing ever. Like, it's literally because
it does seem the most accessible sport to like follow along and like know who to root for and like.
Yeah, because you watch one game, you're like, damn, this guy's fire.
Yeah,
and then you're like, it's that easy. You like James Harden, you like that step back.
That's true. It is kind of like, I think it's probably the most visually appealing sport among like the big three.
I feel like basketball is the fire sport.
Yeah, because like you really see what these people are doing and how. Yeah.
Like, just because it's not easy. Like like it's not easy, and like they're just they look so fire doing it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I do follow MLS pretty pretty well.
Really?
Just because I'm a big United fan, and I keep up with all their games. I guess the sport I'm most like followed in is the UFC. Like,
Really?
I mean,
You
I
keep
like
up with the fights.
yeah, I keep up with like all the fights, the tickets, and so I mean, I follow UFC probably as closely as you guys would follow basketball, but it's just like, yeah, it's a different kind of field. But it's also pretty exciting. I could talk your ear off about it.
I don't know, dude. Just basketball, like something about it has me in love with it. Like
Mhm.
just the stories, like there's just so much like history in it, and I know there's history in every sport, but like the history in basketball, it's not too old. That like it's a
Mhm.
guy like where I don't know, Jack. How would you explain it?
No, I know what you're saying, and I need to figure out how to phrase this. I'm comparing it to football in my head because football has a culture of, like, it's not too old like basketball, but it feels like it is. Like the NFL just turned 100, I think yesterday. I don't even know. Very recently, the NFL turned 100 years old, and it's about the same as the NBA, but at the same time, football feels like it has such a culture of, like, I don't know. You really need to look back to understand it fully. And there's a lot of players on the field you might not know. While with basketball, it's only 5v5.
Exactly.
Keep up with people.
That's fair. That's fair.
Basketball rosters don't change that much, so you watch 2 games, you'll pretty much know everybody. Like I remember, everybody was calling me a bandwagon Cavs fan, which I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say I love the Cavs, but LeBron's my guy. And like I remember somebody slid up on my story like 2 years ago. They were like, "Say the starting lineup." I'm like, "It's not that hard. It's 5 people."
Right.
Like
with football,
It's not like name like the entire defensive line.
yeah, defensive line, offensive people, and like just, there's so many people, man. Like
football has a ton of people. There's a ton of positions. Half of them are on the bench.
Yeah, they're
coaches are always
standing.
getting traded. Players are always dropping out or doing all this stuff. While basketball's culture, it's not as many people. It's not as convoluted. Its whole thing is just kind of smooth feeling. Like, they've got their cool jerseys. It's a 5v5. As many teams as NBA and MLB and all that stuff. It's just simple. And like, I agree with what Parsa said. With soccer, it's not like baseball where it's kind of slower moving. Like, it's basketball. You go up and down the field, but it's just there's so many leagues and half of it's across the world. And yeah there's the MLS, but it kind of translates when it comes to the US too. So I think basketball is the best option if you want to, really follow something that's pretty easy.
And I feel like no other sport is as crazy as basketball.
You mean like actual play style?
No, like just like some like crazy stuff happens like in the league. Like it's just be like some unexpected stuff. Like I remember we were at the beach and then we hear Paul George gets traded to the Clippers and then Kawhi signs right after and it's like 12 at night. I'm like, God damn it, there goes LeBron's championship. But guess what? LeBron's out. I mean, LeBron's in the Western Conference Finals. Everybody said he wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Do you think
That's something else I forgot to point on that you said. Kawhi, and this is kind of off topic now, but Kawhi is not a leader. When he got traded to the Clippers, I was like, that's great, but who else is on that team now besides Paul George? He's kind of, and you can see it in his personality, especially when you compare it to LeBron, because LeBron is, doing commercials and outspoken and tweeting and all this stuff. He's an extroverted player and he's a leader and he's good on the court and all that stuff. But Kawhi is really reserved and quiet and
like
he can hoop, but he's not a leader.
And even off the court, on the court, I just don't see it in him. And no, like I've barely heard that man talk unless it's like in an interview and he's forced in there. But like even like LeBron's just always talking. You always see emotion in that man's face, and I think that's what separates him from Kawhi. And like during the regular season, they were on winning streaks. He's hyping Kyle Kuzma up in like the media. He's like, in order for us to win, we need Kyle to be our third best player. And like that, I feel like for a team of like the Lakers are a bunch of like outcasts, if you really think about it. JaVale McGee, Dwight Howard, Rajon Rondo.
Yep.
Like Alex Caruso.
Dwight Howard didn't used to be an outcast. He kind of fell off, but he's still decent.
It's because I think he was behind his time.
Yeah.
Like if he came in like more, if he was popping in the early 2000s, and I don't know, it's just his play style didn't fit anymore. And and I think that's because why he was just like he was traded to like every team. He was like on a different team every year. He was on the Wizards 2 years ago, and then like this is the first time.
There's a lot of players like that. Like, you know their name, but they're not at the top of the game, and they go to like a million teams because, you know, all the teams want him, and they get him, and he just
and then it doesn't work. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, going back to predictions, I would say it's gonna be Lakers in 6 for the West, and for the East, it's gonna be. I don't know. I want to say it's gonna be very close, but it could be a blowout. You know, like, who knows?
You think it might be a sweep? I don't think it might be a sweep. I think Heat are gonna take it though. The Heat.
I honestly can't call it. I want the Celtics to win. I'm a Celtics and a Heat fan almost equally, but I think I want the Celtics to take it.
Really?
I can't call it.
Because, no, if the Celtics don't win, they're going to make roster changes over the offseason, and they're going to blow it up pretty much. I think they're going to get rid of Gordon Hayward, and they're going to start building around Tatum and Brown.
I could see that.
Yeah, and I don't know about Marcus Smart. It just depends on what goes down.
I don't know, because Gordon Hayward is so freaking injury prone, man. I feel like every time I see him, he's in a cast.
It's just injuries that have no correlation to each other either. It's not like he had one bad knee and it just keeps getting messed up.
Yeah,
it's just
exactly.
like, man fell down the stairs, broke his fingers. Like, damn.
Yeah. So yeah, we agree on Lakers in 6, and I don't know, Heat or Celtics in the East. I couldn't tell you.
No, the reason why I'm so confident that the Lakers are gonna win the Western Conference Finals at least, is because the Nuggets have been to 2 Game 7s in a row.
They're tired.
Meaning they've played a game every other day since the playoffs. Lakers just had 6 days of rest. They're an old team full of outcasts. They're going to win this chip.
Yeah.
And I think the matchup of AD and Jokic, I feel like that's going to be an actual really good matchup to watch for.
That actually is a good point. I haven't thought about that.
Yeah. And I don't know who's going to guard Murray, but I feel like Frank Vogel's going to have a good defensive scheme, hopefully. Because he's not.
Do you think...
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think the Nuggets got lucky winning 2 comebacks like that? Like, they were down 3-1 twice and won 2 Game 7 series.
No.
Do you think that's luck, or do you think
that's not luck?
Skill?
There's no way you win 3 games in a row 2 times with luck.
Yeah, but both times...
Especially against Utah. Utah, they were going off.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, everybody had a big game. Like, they had so many streaks of, like, big scoring games by, like, Murray and Donovan.
Those are my boys.
Yeah.
Who?
The Utah Jazz. Yeah.
Utah, Salt Lake City, baby.
SLC, let's go.
Yeah, but there's definitely something with them. And I really hope Michael Porter Jr. like becomes a dog, because I actually did not mind what he said in the interview.
Which was what?
You didn't see it? He said it in the interview, like, after, I think when they were down 3-1. I think they just had lost the 3rd game to go down 3-1. And he was like, the reporter asked him, he was like, you had 15 points in the first half and 0 in the second half. What do you think the Clippers did differently? And it just straight up was like, they didn't do anything differently. I just didn't touch the ball.
Wow.
Yeah. That's a pretty big thing to say for a rookie.
Yeah.
In the playoffs.
Because, you know, rookies shouldn't be, I mean, they can say whatever they want. I'm just saying, you know, they're trying to establish themselves. They shouldn't say something, you know. They're just
and,
like,
you know,
I didn't touch the
a
ball.
lot of people in the media hated him for it. I thought he did the right thing. You know, I mean, obviously, like, you don't just say it, but the fact that he was, like, mad enough about it, and he's so confident in himself that he can score in big moments, and he's proven it. Like, as far as, like, I've seen in the playoffs, he's definitely proved that he can score in big moments. You know, he hit a dagger over, I don't remember which team it was, but I remember he hit that big shot that sealed the game. But I'm just excited. I'm excited to see how the matchups are going to go.
Me too, for sure.
I think I got Heat in 6, though.
Heat in 6. Okay, I can maybe see that.
Heat in 5 or 6.
What's that series record right now?
2-0. They're down. Celtics are down.
Yeah, that's right.
But
You know, I'm a as much as I don't follow basketball, I do like, and I obviously enjoy watching the sport, and I do enjoy like the whole spirit around it. And I think you know, over the past weeks or I guess the past few months as basketball has come back, I think it's had a pretty positive impact on the nation as a whole, because I think I remember back when we all first locked it down, you know, a big thing that sort of elevated everyone's level of anxiety up a notch was when all of our major sports got canceled, because you know, everyone, they couldn't just sit at home and you know, watch sports. Like when that was gone, you know, that there was a void there that had to be filled with
yeah, they were running like reruns of everything.
Yeah, they were running
like playing Michael Jordan's old games on ESPN.
Yeah, and people weren't very happy, and I think that had at least some part to do with a little bit of why people have been so angry recently. So I'm glad to see it come back.
You'd be surprised though, because the ratings are down like 29%.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that, but I still think that like just it being here in general is still like, it's still at least good in some parts.
Do you think politics like actually piss people off that much to stop watching basketball because they have Black Lives Matter written on their jersey?
Like, well, it's hard
the
to
short answer, absolutely yes. 100%.
Like, do people like that actually exist? Because I don't like I'm
yeah, it's like we can like, I think we can look at it and we can say like, yeah, people would be, but then when we think about it, like we're like, most people in this country aren't different enough to sort of warrant that kind of branding. I feel like if you think of it yourself, like would you stop watching the NBA or like a sports league if it stood for something that, I don't know, that you didn't agree with? And you know, I feel like there's another reason.
I remember Jack said something last week. We had long story short, we had an episode for last week, but like everything that could have gone wrong pretty much went wrong, and so we decided to scratch that episode.
Yeah, we decided to instead, you know, make sure that our technical equipment was working perfectly before we released an episode, because we didn't want to release a shitty episode to you guys.
Yeah, so we like everything was going wrong, and like me and Adam had to talk about it afterwards. I was like, yeah, we need to upgrade, make sure that we're at the quality that we want to be when we're starting, especially because we don't want to get off the wrong foot. We don't want to start like recording on our phones. Not that we ever did, but like,
yeah,
we just wanted to be professional enough to feel comfortable putting an episode out, knowing that if somebody's gonna watch it, they're like, damn, this is good quality for a bunch of 18-year-olds.
Yeah, bearable quality that you can sit down and watch. And you know, like our plan was to like create like as smooth of a visual experience as we could, but then also like with keeping in mind that we can always like improve and always keep up. So like as we go on, even though like I think we're establishing a good basis, we're going to be constantly trying to improve our look and how we talk and all those things.
Yeah, so like we're all working. Like TJ, he hates to talk into the mic. Like he'll be here, and I love TJ.
He's so expressive.
Yeah,
that he
and
hates.
like he gets so into it, and then he immediately like looks at me and he's like, and I'm like, God damn it, TJ, the mic's not picking that up. It's a beautiful words coming out your mouth, but we're improving on that.
People can't hear it.
I remember after we dropped the first episode, me and Adam, like, we're talking about what me and him need to improve on. Like, first episode, he was saying a bunch of ums and likes, and he was stuttering a lot. And I remember I was like, I need to speak up more because I couldn't even hear myself. So I was like, yeah, we need to fix that. And I don't think we've ever went over this, and that's the main reason that we haven't fully gone public with this, is because we're still we know our potential, and we're trying to get there before we go out with this.
Yeah, we don't want to, you know, I guess like, you know, prematurely put ourselves out there, and like if we don't have a strong enough base to put ourselves out on, then we might never be able to live up to like a potential that we see in ourselves.
Because there's so much potential. Like I mean, we obviously can't express it well enough to prove it, but between the four of us, I feel like there's so much potential. And you're right. We don't want to be premature with it and kind of just, you know, put it out there and it's not as good as we can make it. So
yeah, like we had already pushed it back for so long. Like we're like, oh, next week we'll have it all done.
We really did.
Yeah.
We really did.
But And it's still the same thing, you know. Every week we're trying to get something new, get an upgrade, make sure we're improving from the last episode. I remember it took us like 2-3 weeks to like figure out a logo, and the logo's not even on our YouTube channel. It's on our website.
It is on our website.
And then I realized, I was like, damn, we need a banner and profile picture. So I got that made for us. So then we started posting, and every week we're just trying to improve and make it better.
Yep. You know, our next step, I guess, would be to make our set here a little bit more visually appealing.
Yeah.
You know, we have our nice tables and whatnot and our broken math hat, but we're just gonna be constantly striving to, you know, sort of express ourselves through what you see every week.
Yeah.
On Monday.
We're gonna hopefully be adding more stuff to the background. We're gonna pretty much we have a 3-camera setup now. So when TJ comes back, we'll have a camera on me and him. We'll have a camera on Adam, and we'll have the central camera that you guys see now. So we're gonna have to be clearing some space down here for that, and just make the place look better, make it more organized. So we're not running around the place. Everything we need is right there with us to get the show on the road and just make it a good episode.
Yeah, what was I gonna say? I guess I was something that was sort of inspiring me recently was I was watching an episode of Joe Rogan's. He recently moved to a new studio in Texas, but he had a guest on, and it was a guest that was one of the first people to really start a podcast online. His name was Adam Curry, I believe. And he was the person who inspired, you know, Joe Rogan to start a podcast. And, you know, for a while, for like an hour, they just talked about podcasting in general and like the medium itself. And, you know, one of the things that stuck out was that they constantly kept mentioning how the both of them try to encourage everyone they talk to like start a podcast. That's sort of like a joke they have between them. But they both mentioned how like there's like, even though it feels like there might be like a saturation or there might be really big podcasts that, you know, everyone wants to listen to, that there's still like such a market for people's voices to be heard in this sort of way. And they're like you, like if you you shouldn't think that like you won't succeed just because
there's a lot of it,
just because you think there's a lot of it out there, because, you know, it's amazing what people will, you know, tune into. I wouldn't doubt yourself.
And I feel like the reason why I see so much potential in us is because, as far as I know, nobody's done it like us. Like,
and you mean like just people coming together, getting stuff and setting it up and doing it?
You know, I mean that too. I mean, I think a lot of.
What do you mean no one's done it like us? Like I completely agree. I want to make sure we're on the same page.
Like, I feel like what we're doing is just different, and I haven't seen anything like it before. You know, just 4 guys straight out of high school, completely different people. You know,
best friends.
Sitting on a table and talking about stuff, and just, I don't know. I can't think of anything like it.
I mean, I definitely think that, you know, in this world, we see a lot of like talent around us. You know, we see people who are able to do these things and people who like are engaging or whatnot. So I mean, I guess if you could look at the 4 of us individually and say like, oh, they're all like nice to talk to. They all have like interesting ideas, but it's always like the hump of coming together to actually create something through all of that, I think is something that, you know, I feel like everybody has, you know, the first ability there, but it takes a lot of effort to get over that hump and actually make something out of it. You know, it was pretty inspiring to see the guys from our high school, like Eric Yao and Taze Lamb, the ones who started a band, and like they put out like music and like kind of like alternative music. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, I was pretty, you know, good on them for actually like coming together with their talents to do something. But
I feel like, you know how people say that like after high school you won't be talking to anybody from high school, like your life's gonna completely change. I feel like that's not true in the case. I feel like your group just changes. Like, you can still talk to people from high school. It's just gonna be like different people that you barely talk to or you were friends with, and that wasn't your clique back in high school. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it definitely depends on the community, because I mean, for the most part, if you're going to college right out of high school around this area, you're probably going to see a lot of your high school classmates at college, and your natural inclination is probably going to be to like gravitate towards them because they're familiar. So so that like that, so I could see like how your friend group would change, but it would stay like somewhat similar.
Yeah, Jack, how like do you still hang out with the same people?
You mean, at UGA?
You're rooming with one of our graduates, aren't you?
I am, yeah. So something that we were talking about that episode last week that got cut. I kind of, because episode 1, I was on the set and we recorded our first episode. It was great. But then like 2 days later, I moved in to UGA in Athens, and I kind of talked about that in the cut episode. So I'll kind of rehash that. Yeah, I am living with Sai. He graduated in our class at the same high school. And our little group, there's about 12 of us, all came from, our school, and we've like acquainted ourselves with people like around our hall and like, people we meet randomly, but like because of Corona, we haven't really become good friends with anyone we didn't know from high school yet, which, from a safety standpoint, I am completely okay with, but I would also like to meet, some new people. But I'm also, completely happy with our friend group right now. It's great. We kind of have we go to the gym, we play spike ball, we do our classes, get stuff out of the way, hang out on weekends, pretty relaxed, I'd say. But for the most part, yeah, to answer your question, it is same people from high school. So.
Really? Yeah, because I feel like it's been completely different for me. Like, it's just like, I don't know. I feel like since I don't live on campus, it's just like I haven't met as many people as I would have.
Yeah.
And I'm not really mad about that, but it's just like everybody I used to talk to, I barely talk to. We're all like on our own thing now. But like either way, it's been pretty good. Like,
yeah, I have no complaints. It's been pretty good. And you have a unique case because you're not living on campus, but you're also newly appointed to a frat, so you'll meet people through that.
Yeah, no,
it's like I didn't rush, and I'm not in a frat, so I've got my 12 people, and I'm meeting people slowly with them and around. But like that's a huge boost of. Yeah, you're not living on campus, but you've got that
and that's like the main like friend group I'm with right now. Like my pledge brothers, and they're all cool as hell. Like we're all every day, like we're all like becoming closer and closer, and like it's all jokes and fun in there. And I'm actually excited because they're taking us on a camping trip, and dude, I don't know.
Have you ever gone camping?
I've never gone.
Oh
camping.
my goodness!
Oh my god, you never been?
Obviously, me and Jack have been camping our entire lives.
Yeah, a little bit. Eagle Scout boy, what's up? What's going on?
I don't know about all that,
dude. You're gonna love it, dude. I swear to God, you're gonna love it.
It's gonna be in October. It's gonna be cool.
Oh, dude, you're gonna wake up that morning after you like sleep in the freezing cold, and you're gonna feel amazing. Right, Jack?
Yeah.
That feeling of waking up in a tent, nothing like it.
I don't think you guys.
There is absolutely nothing like it.
I don't think you guys know how much I hate the cold.
I know you hate the cold. I know you hate the cold.
Like I'm freezing right now, hence why I'm like this and like why I'm like this. But I hate the cold. Like last night, I was talking to someone on the phone, and I was in bed, like just shorts and a regular t-shirt. I was like, I'm freezing. I need my heater out, and I think like my heater's been out of service. Like I haven't been using it for like 4 months. So keep in mind, I was using my heater in the summer.
Dang, dude, what is it? Are you okay?
Dude, it's just I don't know, warm-blooded.
I remember you would get so angry in the wintertime. Like if we walked outside during class, you would always be so like irritated.
Yeah.
I remember if we walked outside, or even if he walked inside, like came into class and he just came from outside, he would just be swearing and be like, I freaking hate the cold and all this. He would be so infuriated. It was so funny to see. Because it made my day.
Because I get so cold that like it becomes uncomfortable for me to dress, because I'm gonna have to be dressed like in order for me to be comfortable. I can't just leave the house with a hoodie, but I always leave the house with a hoodie. So when it gets cold, it gets cold.
Oh, poor guy, dude.
Well, Adam, you finished Eagle, right?
No, I don't think he did.
I did not, because my scoutmaster wanted me to do it back in March, like once we all
that's right.
locked down. So I decided not to do it. Don't know if I'll regret it, but I don't regret it yet.
No, I think you'll be fine. I was just wondering how far you got. But anyway,
Yeah, I was a life
me
scout.
and Adam can give you some similar advice. And the fact is, if you're going camping in October, this is what you're going to do. You're going to have your sleeping bag, right? I don't know what your tent setup will be. But since it's in October and you will obviously be outside, in your sleeping bag, no matter what kind of temperature sleeping bag it is, have a hoodie and sweatpants and socks on, and you'll be fine. Guarantee it.
It'll feel amazing. And I mean, I guess be careful where you lay your head, because in October, like the bottom of the tent and the sides of the tent are going to collect a lot of like this frigid cold dew. Like it's just going to be wet for no reason. And like if like one drop hits you in the face, it's just going to like, it's going to make you feel so crappy.
I don't know how our tent setup's going to be, but if we're all bringing our own tent, like I remember like me and my parents like have gone like camping, not like in the middle of the woods, but like comfortable camping.
Yeah.
Like sleep in a tent one night
Yeah.
and then head home. Like just get the experience and get it on. You know, you feel me? But like I remember they always used to like throw down like 4 or 5 blankets on the floor just to make it feel like homey.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna probably keep that tradition and keep myself warm and dry.
Your whole backpack's just going to be filled with blankets. And like,
Yeah.
Parsa, did you bring any food?
Parsa's about to go to REI, get that shopping spree.
Dog, I'm
Get
going
every camping equipment known to man.
I don't know, dude. It's gonna be rough. I'm gonna hate my life. Like you guys think I hate it now? I'm gonna like.
I don't know, man. There's something amazing about hating your life and feeling miserable at like on something like camping.
I don't know, but I feel like it's gonna be a fun experience with all the Pledge brothers and
Of course,
the other
dude.
brothers.
Yeah, like there's nothing better than going camping with the boys.
Yeah, I
Like-
wouldn't know about that, but I'm pretty sure it's not gonna be a bad experience.
Uh-huh.
I'm actually excited to see how it all goes because all this stuff is new to me. I don't know if we've already talked about this, but like rockstar lifestyle, city boy. I used to just on the weekends just watch TV. So
You know, it's interesting because we're all at 3 different degrees of, I guess, what we've been talking about. Where Jack, he lives on a campus. He doesn't talk to many people, but at least he lives with all these people. Parsa doesn't live on campus, but he's pledged to frat. And I don't live on campus, and I haven't seen a single person from any of my classes.
dude, that sucks more, bro. Oh my god.
I'm in group meets with them, and like they talk and they just ask questions about the homework, but I don't know what they look like. And I mean, I know their names, but none of them look familiar, so I don't think anyone from our school is in them. So it's interesting. I just sort of, I mean, I do hang out with my friends every week. Like on Thursdays, I always go to water basketball. On Fridays, I'm here right now. But it's interesting. I just haven't.
I feel like I can't wait until the online experience is over. I feel like the online experience has probably screwed me over the most. Like it's just.
Parsa, do you or Adam use ELC as your online thing, or is it like Canvas or something?
Mine's called iCollege.
We use D2L.
Oh, so we're all on different things. Okay.
I thought UJ used D2L.
We use a thing called ELC. It might be the same as D2L. I'm not sure.
Cause I've seen it on some people's Snapchat stuff. Like it looks the same, but I'm not sure. I might just be tripping.
Oh, it is D2L.
It is?
D2L Brightspace.
Yeah, there we go. That.
Yeah.
And you use Responders, lockdown browser. Hate
Yep.
that thing.
Yep.
I still haven't had to download a lockdown browser yet. For all like I've had quizzes and like fairly big tests, and I haven't had to use a lockdown browser for them, so I've gotten pretty good grades. But my first exam in my critical thinking class, I do have to download a lockdown browser, and I have to have like my webcam on and stuff, and I don't really like that because that means I actually have to learn.
I know, dude. I was thinking about that today. I was like, nah, you gotta learn. So like I'm starting next week. I'm gonna make school my first priority just because it's usually always my first priority. But when you're not in the setting of, oh, I gotta go to class.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she said it was due that day. It's not the same. And no matter like however like the teachers try to make it the same experience, it just won't be, because
Yeah.
a lot of people just don't learn like that. You know, a lot of people are like,
They need a sort of regimen.
they're not the self-motivated, I'm going to read this chapter type people.
Yeah.
And I know that's not me. I know a lot of people that's not them.
Mm-hmm.
I know a few people that's them. They love to read a chapter by themselves. You know, they could probably do online for the last 12 years if they could have.
Yeah. you know, it reminds me of like, yeah, it doesn't feel like I'm actually in college right now. Where when I was a kid, in between school years, my mom would always have us and like my siblings do Khan Academy to like keep up with our like math, so we didn't forget stuff, because she was always afraid that we'd go back to school and be absolute dumbasses. But and it just feels like that, because like I'm just doing homework on a computer, and I don't know what any of my teachers look like. They might as well be like random Khan Academy instructors, and like it just feels like it's summer break and I'm just like studying for my next like year of high school. Even like it doesn't even feel like I've graduated.
Yeah, that's very true. I'm the same way. Like I have work. None of my classes meet in person or do Zoom calls. My French class is like optional. Like I can sign up to go, but besides that, that's really it.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen what he looks like, but all my other teachers, or professors, I'll say, I have no idea what they look like.
Might as well be ghosts.
My history teacher just uploaded a lecture, and I was like, oh, okay, I can put a name to a face now. But it's just weird.
It's like I don't even know my teachers' names. Like, forget their faces. I don't know their names.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what to call them. Like, I have to go back to the syllabus and look at what their name is. Like, it's weird. But what do you guys think about, like, how the year's going to end? We're halfway through September now.
Yeah, it's crazy that we're in winter. It was a few days ago. I don't know if Jack experienced it down in Athens, but
it's not winter. It's fall.
Sorry, fall. But I don't know if
Random
Jack
chills and rain. Yeah, I definitely did.
Yeah, when
it flipped.
It was like
overnight.
Like
literally overnight.
I went to go pick up food for the family, and I was walking in the public shopping center down on Delk, and like I was wearing shorts and a t-shirt. It was like 70 maybe degrees or so, and it just felt so weird because like it hasn't been cold like that. I mean in like 7 months, you know, since like February or January.
Yeah, I feel like summer's been for a long time.
Yeah, especially because I mean I guess it was cold when we all went into lockdown. It was still a little cold here, like in mid-March, but then like it felt like summer just because like the temperature of summer and sort of the mindset of summer sort of mixed together there. But yeah, I definitely think, you know, with, you know, falling temperatures and like, you know, this, you know, crazy, you know, shitty year coming to an end somewhat, you know, 3 months from now, you know, I think people, you know, I've always sort of noticed this in the world when winter comes, that everyone sort of calms down and slows down. And I mean, maybe calm's not the word, because I think it's, you know, just sort of a mass wave of like seasonal affective disorder. You know, everyone gets more sad in the winter, but I think that sadness, or, you know, that seasonal affective disorder might be good for us right now, you know, to sort of balance out a lot of the excitement and anger that's been going on for the past few months. And so I guess my question to you guys is that, you know, on January 1st, 2021, you know, what do you think this country is going to look like? And, you know, like, what do you think are things that might happen that, you know, might not be clearly seen, but like you predict might come out from the woodworks? What do you think what do you think those would look like in 2021?
Jack, I'll let you start.
I've been thinking about this a lot, actually, because, you know, there's all those memes of like, oh, New Year's this year, it's like going to stay 2020 because it's so bad, whatever. So I've actually been thinking about it a lot, and I feel like, I don't know if you guys know, but the 80s was kind of like a super happy period, because the 60s and 70s were absolutely depressing, in Vietnam and all this stuff. So the 80s, everyone just said, screw it, you know, let's play arcade games and be happy type thing. Yeah. So I kind of feel like it's going to be a similar thing here, because if you think about it, I would say like 2016 to 2020, like the last half of the tens decade, kind of sucked. It was just like not depressing, but kind of just like a really weird time where not a lot of good stuff happened. So yeah, I feel like people were going to be sick of that, especially with 2020 being what it was. So for the rest of the year, my prediction is not much is going to change. I feel like people are still going to be in this weird state of half quarantining, half not really knowing what to do, whatever. And that'll last. And hopefully, you know, I've been hearing rumors about a cure for it, which will hopefully spike some positive mindsets in people, and the virus will go down and all that stuff. So for the rest of the year, I feel like it's going to remain the same for the most part. If not, maybe get a little better, especially around Christmas time with some spirits. But answer your question, January of 2021, I feel like it's going to be the 80s again. People are going to be like, screw it, I'm sick of all this crap. Let's just have a good time, and everyone quit being mean and everything. Just be happy overall.
That's a nice prediction. I like just hearing that.
Pretty optimistic, if I say so.
It's heavily optimistic. That's what I was about to say. But I feel like, and this might be something jinxing it or whatever, but it kind of can't get any worse. Maybe. I can't imagine how it could, depending on this how election thing rolls out.
Let's just see what China does for 2021. I'm
Dude.
just playing. But I feel like September this month goes by fast, man.
It does.
Mhm.
It really
This month goes by. I never noticed it, but this month goes by fast. But I feel like, what was I gonna say? There was something about, okay, October, Halloween.
What was that?
I don't know what Halloween's gonna be like. I really hope like we figure something out. Cause
Halloween's that
Halloween-
night, dude. That night.
Halloween's a great night.
It is a great night.
Okay, but Halloween's gonna be there. November, I'm excited. Thanksgiving, Cure, hopefully
Election.
election.
Yikes.
I don't know. Do you guys think like we've had the Cure the whole time and we've just been holding it?
Okay. Yeah, we can sort of
So
talk
Trump
about
can't win?
that. It's interesting because it's just, I hear this. I mean, like I still haven't decided. Like, well, I mean, okay. Let me just formulate real quick, because when we sort of talk about like whether or not like the Democrats or the president are holding onto the Cure so they can use it at the right moment to sort of win this thing for them. When we look at who we're talking about, when we say Democrats, we're talking about like the Speaker of the House and Joe Biden and Harris to a second, and like just that whole thing. And then when we talk about like Republicans, like we think about like Donald Trump and his like entourage of Mitch McConnell and his cabinet and stuff like that. And when we think about it, it's like these people, in the like they're constantly bashing each other back and forth, like you're doing this wrong, you're doing this wrong, no, you're doing this one, you're an abomination, no, you are. And it's like while they're like fighting and stuff like that, they're getting us all riled up to like to pick a side, so that when they fight against each other, on the Senate floor, we here on the streets, we start fighting like they do. We start saying, you're an abomination, no, you are, you're wrong. And it's like they do that so that while we're so angry, yelling at each other and being mad, and while we're distracted, they can turn around, stop their fighting, and then do things that are to the detriment of everyone in this country. I like when we think of like if any side might be holding on to a COVID vaccine, then the side isn't like the left or the right. The side is just the up to the down. Like if they have it and they're holding on to it, it's not any one party or any one side. It's just all the oligarchs that rule over us, the people that have all the power, and the people that don't care about their own squabbles. They only do it to perform to the American people, so that when their backs are turned, they can drop bombs on third world countries, raise their budgets, and increase their own payrolls. It's the whole point of it all.
That's all crazy, man. I'll never understand that type of stuff. It's just like, it's real scummy.
It's extremely scummy. It's horrible.
And I don't know. But overall, this is completely off topic, but when Jack said like after 2016 to 2020 was awful, completely disagree. I feel like the only reason it seems like that is because we're old enough to remember and make our own judgment of it.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's like I can't remember my life before 2016 really, because I was fresh. That was high scholl, and high school is always the biggest, is the most changing years of our guys' lives, and so like pretty much all I know is 2016 through 2020.
So I feel like
that's actually a great point.
Like I feel like the only reason you say it was so awful was because like we like that was pretty much when we all like grew old enough to like be able to make our own calls, be able to judge things from our point of view.
Like before 2016, we were all kids, and everyone like misses their childhood.
What the hell we're gonna do in 8th grade?
We were all, dude. 8th grade was awful. I will say that 2014 through 2016 was probably the worst years for me. Yeah, 7th and 8th grade, man. That was really bad.
I don't know, man. Every year is kind of okay. Like I don't ever think about it. Like I feel like I should start writing this down. Like was like year ratings.
Yeah,
like,
I guess Yeah, it's hard because it's like I feel like I can't look at the years of my life and say anyone was better than the other. Like each one had good and bad moments, and like they don't stand out individually. They just all blend together into
I feel like we need
life.
to make a system where we rate every day of each month and then average it out.
Interesting.
And then whether or not, like, by the end
put
of the
some math
month,
to it.
at the end of the month, like, was this a good month? Yes or no? Yes. You have 6 yeses.
Yeah, because it's hard to look back at that at the end, but if you just write it down constantly.
If you just keep up with it.
That's that college algebra brain talking right there.
It's not. Oh my God. Honestly, algebra's been probably the easiest class. Because it's
just some simple math.
Like, we learned the same thing over and over and over in high school.
Yeah.
Like, it was pretty much the same thing.
Ooh, I have a lit paper due Sunday night that I haven't started.
I have 2 chapters due on Sunday. 2 quizzes due today. Let's end the podcast and let's go do some schoolwork, boys.
Yeah. Jack, is there anything you want to say before we leave?
No, this was I would like to point out we were talking about that cut episode last week. It ended with Parsa going, that was kind of mid.
All right, yeah. So,
but no, that's it.
We can tell
I'm
Parsa is a little more happy about this one. So,
yeah.
Thank you all for listening. Thank you, Jack, for calling in from college. I hope you do well over there.
Weekly.
Thank you all for listening. This has been the Floor 26 podcast. Have a great day.
See you next week.